In this video, we're going to be talking about the key 2 things that you could be shifting in your business to go from possibly behind on your goals to far beyond your goals. What's up, everybody? My name is Henry Eisenstein, and I'm going to be talking to you exactly what you could be doing to basically take from where you are at your goals to a whole nother level, baby. These are the 2 key things that I've been coaching every one of my students that are behind for basically years, and even agents that I've been working with for years, right? On my team, my coaching programs, you name it. These are the only 2 things that matter in your business as a real estate agent. So what are they? Well, number 1 is leads. Clearly, you might have a lead problem if you're not closing more business. Again, leads solve all problems. You probably have heard this before, but leads solve all problems. So let's dive into more about how to not only generate them, but where are they truly coming from? For a lot of you, they might be coming from calls or cold calls, right? Whether you're calling expireds, cancels for sale by owners, you're doing circle prospecting or what have you, you're doing some type of cold call. Another way that you could be generating leads is by referral. Some of you have past clients, current clients, sphere of influence, database, whatever you are possibly generating your referrals from. You have some people giving you some referrals. And then the other way that you're possibly getting some leads right now is from an online ad, right? You're running some type of Facebook ad, you're paying for some type of advertising, you're getting some inbound leads. Really, those are really the main 3 that you're going to be generating leads. We have to talk about possibly which one is maybe broken, not being utilized, maybe can be enhanced in some way, shape, and form. So let's dive into them. If you really think about, for every single one of them, number 1, are you tracking where your leads are coming from? Because if you're not tracking where your leads are coming from, it's really hard to predict if your business is growing or dying. Because again, if you're not growing, you're dying, because there's no such thing as standing still. The point I'm trying to make here is that if you're not tracking your data, the only true metric that you have about your business is your bank account, which, yes, that is one of the biggest determining factors of quote unquote success. However, I recommend that you track just about every bit of data in your business. How many calls are you making? How many conversations are you having from those calls? How many leads are you getting from those conversations? How many appointments are you now setting from those leads, from the conversations, from the calls that you made every single step of the way? This way, your business becomes predictable, because this way you actually can tell if, like, okay, well, this month I'm ahead of last month's numbers, and last month I made X amount of money, so in the future you're probably going to make more money. Is that making sense to you? Again, it can also go the opposite way. Well, last month I generated 52 leads, and this month I only generated 32. I'm probably not going in the right direction. Why is that? Am I not having the right amount of conversations? Am I not doing what I did before? It gives you a pretty easy basis point to know if you're growing or dying very quickly, instead of just kind of staring at your bank account like, well, I have less money than I did last month, and that kind of gives you your forte. So the more you track, the more you measure, the more things can grow easier and simpler, because you're gonna know if your business is going in the right direction or not. If you're having more conversations than last month, which means you'll probably be generating more leads than last month, which means that you'll probably be setting more appointments than last month, which means you'll conduct more appointments than last month. It means that you'll sign more contracts this month than you did last month, and that means you'll have probably more closings this month than you had last month. You guys are getting my drift, right? It all stems from the conversations and the amount of calls you're having, the amount of leads. It all has to do with one another, right? So that's why I'm saying track your information, track your data, because without tracking, growth is nearly impossible, because you're kind of winging it. So when it comes to all this, track your information. Where is every single lead coming from? Was it come from cold calling? If so, if it was cold calling, what type of cold call? Track it, because you want to know where your leads are coming from so you can replicate and duplicate and grow faster. If it was a referral, you want to track, where did the referral come from? John Smith, the past client, John Smith, the current client. John Smith, your professional partner who has referred your business in the past. John Smith, who? Track every single lead. Where did it come from? So then you can spend a lot more time with John Smith, because you're hoping John Smith will continue to do that over and over and over again. Okay? Right? If it was an online lead or an ad that you had paid for, or a billboard, or whatever the heck you're possibly paying for, please don't be paying for billboards, please. But whatever you're paying for, you can track that, because you know if hypothetically you got a lead from a Facebook ad and that it closed, you can track where that lead came from that Facebook ad. And guess what? You should probably spend more money on the Facebook ad, because that means it's working. That's why we track data. Every lead that I have, I get reports every single month, so I know where all my leads came from, how many we generated, how many we closed, how much money I made, yada, to the point where, like, literally I know that I make X amount of dollars per X amount of leads generated. Isn't that crazy? There's going to be a correlation. That's why I'm saying it's very important to understand, like, okay, if I told you on average you made $250 on average per lead generated per month, right? And then you're like, all right, well, how do I generate more leads? Because on average, I'll make $250 per lead per month. If you're generating 100 leads a month and you're making $25,000 a month, that means you're making $250 per lead. And you might be closing 2 leads on average, right? I mean, that's how you calculate these types of numbers. That's why tracking is so important. I'm not saying that 100% of your business should come from calling. I'm a huge fan of cold calling, but I'm not saying that 100% should come from cold calling. I believe that the goal is 80% to come from referral. The remaining 20% comes from cold calling, as well as possibly any other sources, right? Like, I don't pay for online ads. I don't believe in it. However, I'm going to tell you right now, I have a wholesaling business that we generate a lot from paid advertising, right? Like, it's not Facebook ads or anything like that. We do a mix of different campaigns, texting, ringless voicemails, other things where like we basically cross-reference a bunch of lists. This is my deepest, darkest secrets, which again, I'll do a whole video on this just so you understand this, but how I generate thousands of leads every single month for my wholesaling business. So really quick synopsis, but what we'll do is we'll cross-reference high motivated lists, things like, pre-foreclosure, just as a quick example, vacant homes as, again, a very, very basic example. And what we'll do is that we'll cross-reference them. So again, who is in pre-foreclosure, who also is not an owner-occupant, right? So it's, or possibly has a vacant home. So we'll cross-reference those two, and that means it gives us an even more motivated list. But I'll cross-reference about 80 different motivations. So I have very, very motivated lists. I'll cross-reference a bunch of different ones all at the same time. It gives us very, very possible motivated individuals. It's not a 100% guarantee, but this is how I generate thousands of leads every single month. That's an example is paid ads. So I do that, which funnels into a lot of my real estate businesses. The biggest, most important key determination of my business when it comes to my income is from referrals, AKA how many people did you add to your network this week? How many new people did you meet? How many people have you called this week from your network of people who've referred you in the past? How many conversations did you have with your professional partners, your sphere of influence, your past clients? How many phone calls did you have with them? Because that's a type of phone call. How many leads did you get from those people this week, right? Like tracking every bit of data, being so specific with your data is going to help you grow in your business. 80% of your business, I'm guaranteeing you, coming from referrals. And that doesn't happen if you meet no people this week. So if you met nobody this week, if you met nobody new this week, if you didn't build any type of relationship with the people in your life who already refer you business, you kind of get where I'm going here. If you're not adding to your network, that means your network is dying. If you're not calling your network that you already have, that you're not building avidly, that means your network is going down, right? So you're possibly losing people because you're not in a relationship with them. Last part is for your paid advertising. So if you realize that you're generating X amount of leads and then X amount of closings from a paid ad, don't you think you should spend more money on the ad? However, you won't know unless you've spent probably, call it 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, 6 months running an ad, because you can't just say you ran it one time for 1 week and it didn't work. You understand? This is why we track. Because if you ran an ad and you got no leads after 90 days of running an advertisement, the advertisement's probably not working. When we send out a ringless voicemail, because we've sent out dozens and dozens of variations of a ringless voicemail, and when you do that, you get a bunch of data back. And then we've taken the data, aka leads that have been generated, and we get a certain response rate. And guess what? If the response rate is below the key indicators that we have here, we're really working well. But if it's above an average, wow, okay, then that's, again, if it's above the marker, then we should continue to run that one, right? This is why we track data. Data is king. All my salespeople are like, why on planet Earth do we have to fill out reports all the time? Because data is king, people. If you don't track your data, you don't know where you're going. It's like steering the ship. It's the navigation. Track your data. Every agent I've ever coached who's tracked their data has increased their business without a doubt, every single time after a 6-month period of time. Happens religiously. It happens because they track their data, because then their business becomes duplicatable. And for those of you who'd like, you can download the productivity log. It'll be down below. There'll be a link for it. That is an easy way to track on a weekly basis. Just create an Excel sheet, guys. I literally have an Excel sheet that I created. It has all my team members on it, right? Myself on it, and we just fill in the data. I mean, it's not complicated. That's it. And then I basically download reports from my CRM of all the leads that have been generated every single month. I've been able to log it by who generated or what type of lead it was or where it was generated in the lead. And I can get a printout of that every month. But you can download the weekly productivity tracker down below, okay? All right, guys, the second half of this video, I'm gonna be spending this on conversion. What do I mean by conversion? Yes, follow-up is a part of it, right? Follow-up is incredibly important, and I've stressed this so many times, but I want to talk about this at a deeper level. Again, it's maybe something you haven't heard before. So when it comes to conversion, there's really 2 specific fashions or facets about follow-up and conversion that are going to be the bottlenecks of your business. Number 1 is lead to appointment. Your bottleneck can be from all the leads you've generated to an appointment, okay? That's a bottleneck. which means that you're having a hard time converting your leads that you've generated, you've accumulated. I'd say probably the biggest bottleneck for most newer agents, okay? Which means you have to practice two things. Your objection handlers, which you can download the script book in the description down below. Practice your scripts, okay? Have the script out in front of you. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes permanent. I've also heard that as well. Practice makes permanent. When you practice over and over and over again, these scripts become you. You become the scripts, okay? Download my script book and take advantage of that. You have to role play. Any friend of yours that's a realtor, or even not a realtor, doesn't matter, a salesperson of any magnitude, if you practice number one, your objection handlers, like we've been talking about, okay, which is like they're basically just giving you an objection and you need to overcome it in order to get the appointment, okay, because you have to close for the appointment. When you practice this, what ends up happening is that now your lead to appointment ratio will skyrocket. I also want you to understand if a majority of your leads is from either the first one or the last one, the calls to the online advertisements or the paid ads. If it's not a referral, your conversion ratio is going to be low, or at least lower than a referral. Because if you get a referral, the conversion ratio is about 5 to 10 times as much. That's going to be a much higher conversion than a lead that is a cold call. Because when you're cold calling or getting an inbound lead, they are typically 90 days to 2 years out. They're not looking to do something today. That's why your conversion ratio seems low. Or when you have a bunch of lead to appointment, or even just like conversion from call to lead is low because, again, you're cold calling, right? Or getting online lead, like online captures of people's information when half of them don't even know they're actually getting their information captured, and then you're calling them and you're like, hey, I saw you filled out my advertisement, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm just skimming for houses. That's why I'm saying a majority of your leads, 80% of them, should come from referral if you want to build a recession-proof or a long-term business that is going to be sustainable and something that grows over time, okay? So again, you have the two things that I want you to focus on when it comes from lead to appointment is number one, objection, right? Objection handling, memorizing your scripts, and the second part is understanding where your leads are coming from. Majority of your leads should try to come from referrals. And I know you're all like, obviously, I know that if you're spending 80% of your prospecting time cold calling, that means you're going to have a fairly low conversion rate on those leads, when I would tell you to spend more time on networking so that you get more referral leads, because those will convert higher. If you only could get 10 leads a month, 10 cold call leads, 10 referral leads, or 10 from online ads, which one would you choose? All of you would choose from the referrals, because you're probably going to convert at a 40, 50, 60% or more on your referrals, and you're going to close it like a 2 to 5% ratio on the leads or the calls. And this is why most agents generate a bunch of leads and they don't convert more than like one closing a month. This is why, because they're not referral leads. The reason why I can generate not a lot of leads from my network but still close a lot of business is because it's all mostly referrals, guys. The other thousands of leads that I generate, I hardly even count them in the same pillars because the skewed data is outrageous. Okay, let's focus on the second part of the bottleneck, which is from appointment to contract signed. So that means you're going on a lot of appointments and you're not getting contract signed. That typically means that you are not practicing your closes, right, at the listing appointment, or you're not vetting the appointment prior to the appointment. Because if you're practicing your scripts of the listing presentation and you're understanding what to do, right, or how to close at the appointment. So when would be better for me to take photos? This Friday or this weekend? That's a fantastic close. You can rewind that and I'll even say it again. When would be better for me to take photos? This Friday or this weekend? Or this week or next week? When would you like me to take photos? This week or next week? It works like a freaking charm. That is my favorite close when I'm at a listing appointment. And then they're just going to say to you like, okay, great. All you have to do is sign here. And guess what they're going to sign? That's the best close you're going to have. So that'll help you on that end. Now, if you're not vetting the appointments prior to conducting a listing consultation, it's like not ever practicing how to drive a car and then going to take your driver's test, all right? As a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, you're not going to know what you're doing. You go on an appointment and you didn't conduct any type of pre-qualification of the appointment. And then you go on the appointment. And then they say to you, well, I really just thought you were just going to look around and I thought you had a buyer, or I thought you were going to give me an offer on my house. Have you ever been there, right? And you're like, I thought this was going to be a listing appointment. And then you're like, I didn't really ask them if they wanted to list their home. In a listing pre-qualification call prior to the appointment, when you're going to confirm the appointment, right? Because what I'll do and what I coach my agents and my team to do is double pre-qualification, which means we'll pre-qualify the night before and the day of. just to make sure we don't go on an appointment and then there's any type of miscommunication. I want to make sure 100% that this client understands I'm going to the house to list your home. So a part of it is going to be just to be clear. Where are you looking to move to when we do sell your home? Just to give you some heads up here. If they go, well, I'm not looking to sell my home or I'm not looking to list my home, that's a pretty good indicator that you should probably get some more information before you just conduct the appointment. You say, well, I'm looking to move to Florida because I'm from New Jersey, go to Florida. I'm looking to move to Jersey. Okay, well, just to clarify, when you last spoke to us, you said you were looking to move to Florida by August. And when we last spoke, you also confirmed that you'd ideally like to have the home on the market within the next week or two, making sure that we can get you to Florida by August. Does that sound about right? Yes, that's accurate. To clarify, when we do come over to the property, I just want to make sure you have a spare key handy for us when we come to the appointment. Is that correct? Yes. I'm confirming everything prior to me going on the appointment, so I know that basically if I just don't word vomit and screw up and say something I probably shouldn't have said, and I close the way I just said to you to close, probably gonna get the signed listing, okay? Those are really the two biggest bottlenecks. There's only so many reasons why your conversion's not higher. I'm telling you right now, if you're not on track to reach your goals, watch this video over again and over again until you're on track and just do the simple things in this video because that's all it takes. For those of you who want to take advantage of my free coaching, yes, I just said free coaching. If you're not fully taking advantage of it right now, because I charge thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars for coaching, and yes, I'm doing it for free right now, take full advantage of it. The link is in the description down below, and I do it every single week. Yes, you get live coaching from me, not some random person, every single week. If you want to take advantage of it, click in the description down below. I'd love to support you in blowing up your business. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, put it in the comment section below. I want to make sure I can make you some more amazing video content for you guys to check out. Other than that, I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.